Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Global PAD Impact Awards for 2025-26. Today, we're celebrating a rising star of the year, Dr. Amit Amin with Cardiovascular Institute of the South in Lafayette, Louisiana. Dr. Amin exemplifies the future of PAD care through his exceptional commitment to patient advocacy and innovative clinical approaches. In a remarkable case this year, he saved a patient from an above-knee amputation after 2 failed bypasses with another doctor, transferring her to his facility and successfully restoring blood flow when others had given up on her. Now, despite resistance, he championed her comprehensive care, including extensive wound management, resulting in successful healing months later. And she is walking. His patient-centered approach, collaborative spirit, and unwavering dedication to limb salvage represent exactly the kind of early career excellence this award celebrates. So join me in welcoming and celebrating Dr. Amit Amin. We appreciate you being here, and a little surprise for you. The patient I talked about, Joyce, and her daughter Jay are here to give you a big virtual hug and a big thank you, Dr. Amin.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure to help you guys. Absolute pleasure.
And I wanted to give a moment to Joyce to have a few words to celebrate you and all you have done, your commitment to her, to commitment to all of the other patients, because, you know, you lose a lot of hope when someone just gives up on you. And then when in comes an angel in disguise, wearing a white coat, a stethoscope, and with hands of magic, or should I say hands of God, it restores hope, and it brings back the quality of life, right, Joyce?
Yes, very, very much so. And Dr. Mann, I truly like to thank you for first saving my life, and then from that, saving my limbs. You are the only doctor in this area that said, yes, I can do it. Everybody else was saying, no, no, amputate above the knee, amputate above the knee. They thought we were crazy because we said there's got to be a better way. And because of you, you have done it. You have shown me what you could really do. And I thank you, and I thank God for sending us to you, or you come into in my life. I tell you, you're a family for the rest of my life. Every time I look at my leg and walk from one step to the next step, I thank God for you saying, yes, I can do it. Send Joyce to me. And I thank you. And I also thank you when you went through when you did what you did. I had just one little spot on my wrist, and you went straight here and you did everything you needed to do. Thank you so much, doctor. You're appreciate you, and I love you so much.
I love you too, Joyce.
And I just wanted to say, doctor, my family truly appreciates you. So many doors were closed in our face. We were at the 9th hour, and we just thank you for your compassion, because others did not have the same compassion as you. So thank you so much for your compassion. Thank you for even just giving my mom the second opinion that she requested. And thank you for ultimately salvaging her limbs. My whole family loves you. We thank you. And we wish nothing but blessings on your career and your future. And we just thank God for you. And like my mom said, your family.
That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I appreciate all the blessings. Thank you.
And Dr. Amin, in a conversation that we were meant to have, but we never had, and I hope you are maybe willing to share here, that you had a magical moment, a moment of awakening that you said led you to where you are today and doing what you're doing with limb salvage. Would you mind sharing that?
It wasn't per se related to it, but I will share that I did have a moment where I asked a particular question to our Heavenly Father, and He answered it in a very surprising way to me, which led me to believe, led me down the spiritual way that I am right now in the path that I'm going. So to have the compassion, the added compassion, and to be like Jesus, it's kind of refreshing to have that kind of inspiration in the background. It's not to say I didn't have it before. It's kind of humbling now to say, hey, look, I could have done a little bit better in the past. And now to have the opportunity to be led by him or guided by him or just kind of pushed in the right direction, I think he put Miss Joyce in my lap for that very reason.
Wow.
And for that is why we're all here together on this feed talking and sharing the hope, the love, the kindness together, and I truly appreciate just the pure love and the hugs that you guys give me when we see each other in clinic. It's very, very appreciated. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
When I hear stories like this, I just feel like there's only one explanation, divine intervention.
Yes, I believe that too.
I think so too. I think
Me
everything
too.
happens for a reason if you truly
Right.
believe. And I think we all believe. And I think, Kim, we've had that discussion too, that everything happened just, I wasn't calling the right day, or they called the right people. And Jay, you reached out to, I think it was Kim, and then Kim
Yes.
called the right chain. And then one person was like, I know the perfect person. And here we are. So it just,
Yes.
everything just kind of just fell into pieces. And he was like, it's time. So.
Yes, nothing but God.
And
It
Kim, I
was-
don't know if you remember saying to me when you did that, you said, Jay, we're praying that God has the angel for you already, the answer already in the building in Lafayette. And he truly had the angel in the building in Lafayette. So yes.
Yeah, I thank him every day for guiding my hands. Every day I do procedures. I just bless my hand just to make sure everything good, and bless all my patients that have a great outcome. So, and it worked out that way.
It was just one of those things that I ended up on the phone with Dr. Craig Walker, who's the CEO of the
Mhm.
Cardiovascular Institute of the South. And Joyce was supposed to go to him a couple Mondays in a row. And the first Monday that she had an appointment with him, they wouldn't let her out of the hospital. They found out that she was going to get a second opinion from Dr. Walker, and they wouldn't let her out of the hospital. They dragged their feet releasing her from the hospital till, suddenly her appointment had to be canceled. So then we made an appointment for the next Monday, but by the end of the week, that wound was looking more and more angry, and she ended up having to go back, I believe, to the emergency room,
Yes.
and she got stuck in there again. And that's when we said, hey, you got to try and figure out a hospital transfer, because they wouldn't let her out. They said the only answer is amputation. We're not going to do anything else. And that's when I said, Dr. Walker, what do we do? And he said, get a hold of Dr. Amin. He's in
Thank God for
Lafayette.
Dr.
He has
Amin,
hospital
yes.
privileges. And then he went to church because he had his son that was going in. So I couldn't reach him to get your number. So I think he thought I had your number. And so I got on with the company Endologics, and I just met the rep from Endologics who is in your area.
Right.
And I said, I need help. Can you get a hold? You have to know Amit Amin. Can you get a hold of him? And with blind faith, you're like, I don't know who this person is, but okay, give her my number.
Yeah.
But I think the funniest part of the whole thing is when you said that you would accept a transfer. I don't know what you went through over at your hospital. I remember you telling me that you did have, it was available. You were willing to transfer.
Mhm.
They had a bed for her.
Yep.
And and I think they dragged their feet again. So
Yep.
you had it, and then we had to wait, right, until the next day when Jay, calls me and she says, well, Kim, they said there's nothing available. We can't do anything. And I said, what did I say, Jay? Do you remember that
Yeah.
phrase?
Get your cute butt back up there is what you told me.
And
I
my
told you,
favorite
okay.
part is when she called a meeting. Somehow she got everyone on the team in the room. She got
Yes.
everyone on the team in the room. And they were still pulling that, no, there's no way, no one's available. And Jay gets me on the phone, and I said exactly who you were. They Googled you on their
Yes.
phones right there.
Yeah.
Right.
And Jay was like, there was like this, oh shit moment.
Yeah.
He said, okay, we'll make it happen. And I was like, here's his cell phone number. You can call him.
And then
So
that procedure,
anyway,
and the procedure was relatively straightforward, which is unfortunate. We see this so routinely in what we do, and you can ask Dr. Walker also, and all the highly skilled operators in this country that I'm good friends with. They see this all too often and just give hope, and they do something and it doesn't work. They do something and it doesn't work, and then the next thing is like, hey, look, we'll just get rid of the leg, and the patient's just going to have to do. They just don't understand the statistical data that's provided, and it's long-term 5-year data. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And so this procedure was an hour or two. We got it done, and then we got the blood flow, and then there was too much blood flow, and it was like,
Yes.
how is that even possible? We heard that. How many times
Too
did we hear
much.
that, Jay? I don't even know. I was like, oh,
Yeah, then
Yeah.
the general surgeons, even at, we're saying, well, now there's too much blood flow, so we still need to amputate. And you fought. Like
Yeah.
you were like, I thought this was all over with. I thought we were good. I got the blood flow. It's starting to heal, and you still want to amputate? What?
Right. What's going on here?
Yes.
You were
Yeah.
such a good sport, and it gives us so much hope. And that's why, I mean, you're definitely deserving of this award, because it gives us so much hope for the future of care. You're still so young, and you have so many more years in your career, so many more years of patients, not only your patients that you can have a tangible impact on, but through working with the next generation and the next generation and the next generation coming up in the ranks, behind you, that you, with your advanced skills, you had a great person who trained you, and now you're literally tangibly doing what he can do, and then you're training the next generation to do the same.
Right.
And there's so much promise.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
yeah, I agree. That's the lineage of medicine. We've just got to, pass on. I had the best teacher in the world, Dr. Walker. He taught me as much as he could teach me, and I had to take the reins, but I'm still learning. But I still have that passion like he does, just to keep on fighting and then save the limbs. It's not just me. There's just so many other people that I'll start naming a big list, but I'm not just the only one. So I have to give them credit also.
What are some of the Achilles heels that you deal with on a daily basis that you may not have the answer for now, but you hope in your career that you may be part of pioneering the solutions to these problems that doctors like you still face when it comes to trying to save a limb?
I think most of it's just education and outreach. We just don't know. And I think at the outreach, I think we've got to get better with just the community approach about, if we get to a small population of the community, they will say, oh, my grandma's like this. I need to go send her here. So we just need to do some more education in small, like local areas, just to kind of get that outreach. And I think that's where it's going to start, with the education part. And then we can kind of tie in the industry and stuff to help us kind of sponsor events to get the word out. And you're doing a wonderful job, Kim. And I just hope that what you're doing, just one of the phenomenal. I've never seen what you're doing before, and I'm just like, wow, this is impressive.
Yes.
And so just to have that person to be a liaison and be like, hey, look, I'm going to make a call, and you'll have 50 high risk people who can do critical limb ischemia kind of work on your phone call, and you'll be like, I've got person, so here we go. And so we need that champion like you who can facilitate that. But we do need to start on the local level where we are here in Louisiana, and then teach our patients and teach the family members and tell them to go, hey, look, I see my grandma, I see my aunt, look, you need to go see the specialist. I know this person. And so that's how it's gonna kind of disseminate out into helping a broader population.
One of the things, I'm on the communications committee for the CLI Global Society, and that we're working on is getting the information to the primary care doctor. Everyone seems to see a primary care doctor, no matter who you are, no matter what community. At some point, you see a primary care doctor. And if we need to educate those primary care doctors to think PAD. There's Josh, my producer, who's working on this and making this magic happen for the production, is probably smiling right now because he's on the board for what's called Think Aorta. And that's where I got the idea that we need to get everyone to think PAD. Someone has trouble walking, think PADs. Someone has leg pain, someone has leg cramps, think PADs. Someone has neuropathy, think PAD. Get tested. It is,
Right.
we still have the US, I think it's the task force, preventative task force, that in 2018 came out and said the risks don't outweigh the risks outweigh the benefits for testing for PAD, especially for asymptomatic patients. So we don't think that we're not going to recommend early PAD testing for anyone. And yet, it's more prevalent and deadlier than prostate cancer, colon cancer, and breast cancer combined. And each one of those offers early screening.
The screening. Mhm.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And so, yes, I believe in these community events, and I think community events are great, and we can champion those. But I think the answer really comes down to our entire healthcare system. A few community events is not going to solve the problem, right? J&J had its Save Legs Change Lives program. They didn't move the needle. They tested, hundreds of thousands of patients, but yet 70% of people across the US still don't know what is PAD.
Right.
So
Right.
I think the answer is getting to the primary care, getting the education to them. And I know that CIS is working really, really hard across Louisiana to do that.
Yeah, we have our local NCVH, sponsors and events yearly, and so we invite all the primary cares around this area, nurse practitioners, nurses, techs, anybody who's in the healthcare field is welcome to join
Yeah.
us, get some CME, and learn about peripheral artery disease, any kind of vascular disease. So it's a benefit for everybody. We have it in Baton Rouge. We have one, I think, in Shreveport. So we cover the entire state. And then we have it globally, I mean, not globally, but nationally too. So, like you said, education, whether it's from the bottom all the way to the physician level, teaching the Congress, the Senate, the politicians,
Yep.
helping, getting that started. So it's a tough battle. It's a tough battle.
I just met a senator in your area. I need to introduce him so that we can get a declaration for Pad Awareness Day, maybe in February. I think that would be incredible.
Oh, that would be
great.
That would be, yes.
So all of us, we're going to work together on that.
Yes, very much so.
But Dr. Amin, we have 6 questions we ask every single doctor that has earned this award. So take your time answering these. The first one is, I want you to share a case, and it might even be this case, but we're going to run it separately, so they will not have seen the beginning of this or any other. So make sure you preface everything and put it into context. But a case where you learned something from that others could learn something from. Would you mind sharing a case?
I think this is a great case for Miss Joyce. It's just the commitment and the passion, the perseverance, to just keep on fighting. I think that's the ultimate lesson here, is just the fight between, of course, Miss J here, Miss Joyce, and then my end to keep on fighting and pushing, and then your collaboration too about making sure that everybody's staying on top of things. I think the collaboration, that team effort was probably something that you don't see often, and it's often, you really do need to say, hey, look, this is what we can do, this is what we can achieve together, and it's not a solo event. So yes, I fixed the blood flow, but we all did this together.
Can you start from the beginning, just in a short Cliff Notes version, and say, I had a case that was brought to me by the Global PAD Association, a woman, 2 failed bypasses.
Got you. I got you. You want okay. So yeah, I had a great case brought to me by the PAD Association. A very nice lady who had 2 failed bypasses, open wounds which weren't healing, poor blood flow, was tuned up for only option would be a amputation. She reached out and then finally ended up with me. We did a simple revascularization of a occluded SFA. She had great blood flow, came down for a subsequent intervention, that same hospital admission, got too much blood flow per the surgeon, still wanted to cut her leg off. And to this day, now she's walking into my clinic and giving me hugs standing up. So that's the ultimate thank you I can get.
That's amazing. Tell us about a case. We have a series called Journey to Diagnosis, and it's to raise awareness of the stereotypical, or should I say typical, misdiagnosis that happen at the gatekeeper level. PAD misdiagnosed as neuropathy, and PAD misdiagnosed as general diabetes. PAD misdiagnosed as just, old age or gout or whatever it might be. So share a case that came to you where the patient was either on deck for amputation or complex revascularization, where you were concerned there might not be hope, and you heard their journey and were like, how in the world was this patient misdiagnosed or not diagnosed sooner? Can you share a case like that so that others can learn from it?
Put me in the spot. Trying to think of a case of such. I see that routinely where we have patients come in who are, especially when I'm in the hospital doing, on my calf days, and they'll come in and be like, hey, we'll have a amputation schedule. Can you take a look at the films? I'll be like, sure, I'll take a look at the films. And then I'll go through the old films, and then specifically there'll be a simple, like an occluded long segment SFA, but nobody's tried to try to revascularize it, try to do anything. And, or they failed a couple of times, but they haven't asked another person who's skilled or done them multiple times. So that would be one of the cases that I would say, hey, look, I've tried it. We opened it. Everything worked great. I've got some more blood flow through. And so unfortunately, we see that all too often, Kim. They come in with ready to go. Just, oh, we've tried this, we've tried, but they haven't asked anybody else. And I don't have a specific case of mind. I know there've been a handful of cases just like that, where we've come in and opened up an iliac, opened up an SFA, opened up some flow into or stage a procedure where we can get assistance with a vascular surgeon to get a bypass graft onto something. So there have been numerous. I just don't have one in specific that I could say.
It just goes to show that this is still, it's a widespread issue that we have a lot of work to do to try and resolve. Walking is the best medicine for patients.
Right.
Would you mind giving me your best, how about giving Joyce your best motivational speech for walking?
Oh my goodness, you want to be a motivational speaker today? I didn't even plan for that one. I guess I have to channel my inner Tony Robbins here or something. Joyce, I can't tell you how important walking is. Walking is for your mind, walking is for your body, and walking is for your soul. Think of it that way. Walking can be spiritual as long as you can. If you're walking, you can always pray to Him Almighty, and He can give you the steps that you need to keep on moving. Walking brings you satisfaction, walking brings you joy, and walking brings you health. And walking keeps you out of my clinic. So with that being said, just keep on walking.
Perfect. And tell us about that aha moment, that one pivotal moment in your career, the catalyst for change of direction in your career, whatever it might be. It could have been one you shared earlier, but and you can tell me, I can just grab the one from earlier. But have you had an aha moment? It's what we call the 6 minutes that matter, a conversation you had, a revelation that you had that completely shifted who you are, your focus, your career, your family, whatever it might be.
I think initially when I was in fellowship, when I was in training, I was debating whether doing more of a structural tract than a peripheral tract. And some of my attendings during fellowship were doing more of a peripheral work. And I really just fell in love with it. I was like, this is something I could do. And that was probably one of the aha moments that I had, was like, I need to learn more. And so, and ultimately, when I graduating, one of my lead attending, Dr. Ali, I had a sit down talk. He was like, "Hey, what shall I do?" I was a little older, had 2 kids at that point. We were from the East Coast, my wife and I had an opportunity to work with Dr. Walker and be his fellow. And so it was, what do I do? And so we sat down, and I still remember where we sat and benched in the University Hospital in New Orleans. We sat down and was like, look, if you're going to do this, do it now, because you won't go back in time and do it. And at that point, it was one of those things. And I went home, spoke with my wife because we got to have that discussion because she's got to be happy because I'm going to still be in a little bit of training. And she said the same thing too. She's like, "Are you going to be happy if you don't do it?" And I was like, that's another point too. And then at that point, it was like, let's just get it done. And it was the best decision I've ever made. And I just absolutely fell in love with it. Just the kind of work, the people, the industry support here, the atmosphere, and the camaraderie has just been something special. And so I think that was kind of probably the moment when I was in training and I was like, this is actually really cool.
I love it. Well, we're thankful you
Yeah,
did.
me too.
So 2 more fun questions. One, the patients want to know about the weirdest, funniest, most shocking moments with them that made you just shake your head and go, I can't believe one of my patients just did this, or I can't believe one of my patients just said that. And we've had really funny ones, but we've also had pretty serious ones that offered some pretty good lessons. So it could go either way.
Oh,
I can
gosh.
give you examples.
Yeah. You may have to give me a couple of examples. It may inspire me.
Okay. So we had a diabetic patient that Dr. David Alpert shared who stapled up her socks.
Oh,
And
wow.
when she took, because she had neuropathy and she couldn't feel her legs, and she thought it was a great way to, and creative way to, since she couldn't feel it, why not? Until they got infected.
Wow.
We had Dr. George Adams, you know him very well,
I do.
who shared a patient that needed to lose weight, said he was going to be getting with some friends and doing a cleanse. And Dr. Adams says, well, I don't know anything about cleanses, so you do you and see a dietitian, but you do need to lose weight. A couple weeks later, he ends up in the emergency room with an AFib event. And he said, well, what triggered this AFib event? Something happened because you were fine. And he said, okay, I'll go home and think about, I don't know what I could have done. And a few days later, ring, ring, ring. And Dr. Adams says, yeah, so what did you find out? And he's like, yeah, you know what we did? We used what's called an enema. You heard of those? He's like, yeah, but not even the punchline yet. He's like, yeah, what's wrong with that? He's like, well, I used it in the wrong cavity.
Oh.
Oh.
So he used it orally, and
Mm.
whatever was in there shocked his entire system.
Wow.
So that's what they're
Wow.
thinking. I don't know. No proof. Who knows? Might have caused an AFib event. We also have had more serious ones that ended up where someone with neuropathy had their infected toe and the dog ate the toe.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard of that before. I've heard of
We've
that.
had
Oh.
doctors also say that, you know, really frustrating is they'll go and they'll revascularize, they'll tell the patient not to smoke, and they look out the window as the person's waiting for the ride and they're smoking, and they're like, come on.
I've seen that.
So
I've seen that too.
it
I've
could
seen
be
that too.
anything.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I know you're just standing there waiting for a ride and they're just standing there with a cigarette in their hand. You're like, well, they'll be back. I'm trying to think. There's a good stories, Kim. I want to steal one of those, but no, I can't do that. Do you have any more? I'm trying to think still. You put me on a spot. So I'm still trying to think of something good. Maybe what's the next question? Maybe I'll come back.
Oh, this one's even harder, but
Oh,
it's really
gosh.
fun.
Oh, God.
Oh, these are good ones. You can thank Miguel Montero Baker and Dr. Lucas Ferrer for this one,
Oh,
because they were my test bunnies, because they were hilarious. So as we were going through the interview, it just kept getting funnier and funnier. And they were just, so I was like, you know what, dudes, let's just, let me just, you guys are, this is way too easy for you. So let me give you a tough one. When I was at a tech blog called Pando Daily, there was a young woman who came up with the question, if you could have any mediocre superpower, what would it be? Now, it can't be a super cool superpower, meaning like you could fly or walk through walls or have, you know, be able to X-ray vision. Like,
Oh,
no,
that
no,
was
no,
going
no,
to
no.
be it. I was going to say X-ray
Those
vision.
are super cool.
Oh.
This has to be a mediocre superpower. So this is a superpower, like the mediocre superpower that solves the greatest annoyance of your life. Something that annoys you, something that is like the bane of your existence, that you're just like, God, if I could only So we had, when I was there, we had very creative entrepreneurs that one said that he wished he could remove his arm while spooning with his wife because he loved being close, but his arm would always fall asleep. So that would be his mediocre superpower. We had another who said they wish that they would actually, and this was just kind of funny and simple, was they wish that when they got out of the shower, that they wouldn't be cold. That's stupid. Dr. Ferris said that he actually wished that his nurses would automatically know and be able to read his mind. Every single day he would get a call at the same time on his way into the OR, and they would ask him which way he wanted the patient positioned. He's like, it just seems like a stupid call. Like, why can't they just figure it out? Like, can't we just not have this call every single day with the same exact question?
I've got it. My superpower would be this, that every time somebody would talk to me, I would get the ultimate Cliff Note version of it.
AI. Hey,
Just,
it's happening.
Just simple. Keep one sentence, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's what you're trying to say." It would help with me and my wife because, she says I don't listen because I'm just trying to understand what she's saying. But even my kids too, one word, and then normally it's food, which is pretty simple. Which me as a guy, it's great. I got you. But then filling between patients too, because they like to give a lot of summary sometimes. I'm not saying you guys do, Joyce, but it's nice to have that one line be like, this is what, can you help me with this? Oh yeah, I can do this. That would be excellent.
That is a great one. Hey, and that's what we try to do. We actually try to prepare. So one of the services we do provide, we have a couple doctors that send the patients our way before their appointments and say, hey, can you meet with Kim and the team before coming into me to kind of go through your symptoms and things like that? And they'll send me a one sheet. And then they have the basics of what they want to accomplish in that meeting. And I sit there for 45 minutes to an hour and go through this. So you only need to take 5 minutes. So your prayers are answered. Okay, back to the things that patients say or do. It doesn't have to be funny. It could be serious. It could even be that they just don't walk.
They don't half the time. I see it routinely. I'll have to say it, but they really don't. A lot of patients come in with venous insufficiency or walking or wounds or anything, or PVD in general, and you'll ask them to go for a walk or something like that, and they'll come back and be like, "Sure, yeah, I did for a walk." Be like, "Well, how did you gain weight then?" And we're like, "Well, I got lazy and I started eating." I was like, "Well, what are you eating?" I was like, "Well, ice cream and cake." And then you're like, "Okay, so I thought we talked about losing weight." Well, I tried. But then I was like, well, then I couldn't take any steps because I gained too much weight. And I was like, oh, okay. So do we see where this is going? I'm like, well, kinda. So what do you want me to do? And I was like, well, I should get up and move or move the pantry out of the house for far away. And then you don't have to go get your food from there. And so I had that conversation a few times. I'm not sure if that's going to be inspiring for them, but it's just one of those things that you have to be a dietitian, a counselor, a nutritionist, a physician, an educator, a school teacher sometimes, a historian, somebody you got to slap them on the hands and say no. Sometimes you have to be a priest. So you have to be all encompassing in here. So that would be it's not as sexy as the other guys with somebody going out and their toe being eaten by a dog, but I've seen that before, so I can't steal it.
But this answer actually exemplifies why you are the Rising Star of the Year through the Global PAD Association's Global PAD Impact Awards, because you are the doctor that literally does it all. You're willing to do it all with compassion and empathy and advanced skills for saving life and limb. And for that, Dr. Amit Amin, we really appreciate you, our 2025-26 Rising Star of the Year. Thank you for all you do to save life and limb.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much.
Hey, Kim, can we actually do one more thing? My niece wants to be a doctor. We want to introduce her to Dr. Amin. So come in, Jayla. Come on.
No, wonderful. There you go.
Oh my gosh, you guys are going to make me cry.
You're
You're going to inspire already the next See, rising star, literally
Yeah.
inspiring the next generation.
And yesterday
Hi,
she had to
you're
dress
here.
up as a book character for her school, and
Dress up for your profession.
she had to dress up for her
Dress up for your
profession
profession.
yesterday, and she dressed up as a doctor for school.
Very good. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah.
And then I had a stethoscope.
And
She had,
stethoscope.
yes.
How old are you?
11.
11, perfect age. My son is just about to be 11 in the next couple of weeks. So you can start early. That's where I started, and just don't give up, okay? Promise me that. Just don't give up.
Yes, sir.
If you've got some passion and you want to do it, don't let anything stop you. Anything, okay?
That's right.
That's it.
That's
Is
the
there
only-
anything
the
that
best
she
advice I
can
give you.
do? Is there anything she can start doing at 11 years old to start preparing for this? I know she's too young for an internship. I know those start when you're in high school, but
Right.
maybe there are some things that she can start doing right now at home.
I would just, there's a lot of, I guess, I won't say toys, but I'm sorry.
I said, I just
What'd
had
you-
a grandma walking to the door.
She helps her grandma. She also helps me do wound changes on grandma.
Basic stuff like that you can do around the house. Make sure you can be the first aid person. Make sure you can learn about first aid when you're there at the house. So if somebody has a cut, you know how to fix it. That's the best way to learn. And then just to be that helping hand like you're doing right now, showing that compassion early. Those are the best virtues and respect. If you can learn some of that early and have that instilled in you, it'll go a long way. The education part will come from school. And so just make sure you pay attention in school and you do great. And then once you get to college and stuff like that, that's another hurdle. But you'll be able to do more at that time because you'll be somewhat an adult at that point.
Mhm.
And also, I saved my grandma's life at 10 years old.
Oh, you did?
Yes, she did.
Saved her life.
She did save my mom's life. She recognized, she got off the school bus. She recognized that my mom was not acting herself. She called me and I was not here. She called me and she said, she calls me Nanny Drina. She says, I think you need to get here as soon as possible. We need to call 911. Something's not acting, my grandmother's not acting right. I'm going to fan her until you get here. And so it was my mom's actually at the time, her hemoglobin levels had dropped to a very critical point, and we had to call 911. And then if Jayla did not make that call, the doctor said at the time that, who knows what could have happened. So she
Wow.
did as she can. She's correct. She saved her
Good.
grandma's life.
Very good. Good for you.
Yeah.
Jayla, nice job.
Yes. So they say great job, Jayla.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. One of the things that I did was I went to the local American Red Cross, and they have classes, and also the American Heart Association local chapters have classes. So the AHA has classes on CPR, and then the American Red Cross has, first aid classes that you can take in some of the chapters. And so that's what I did. I thought I wanted to be an athletic trainer for the 49ers. So I wanted to get my doctorate in sports medicine at one point. And then I discovered the microphone and became a sports broadcaster for a while. But I digress. Jayla, thank you so much. We're excited and inspired that you're going to be coming up in the ranks. Maybe in a few years, you can be Dr. Amin's fellow.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's nice.
Yes, that would be great.
Doctor made me save grandma's leg. Yes, she saved her leg and she saved her life.
There you go.
Thank you
Perfect.
so much. Again,
Thank you.
2025, 26, Rising Star of the Year, Dr. Amin through the Global PAD Association's Global PAD Impact Awards. Congratulations.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
I'll see y'all soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.